A one. Hello, hello. Okay. Reggie, how do I sound, Reggie? Do I sound okay to you? Hey, everybody. Can I get a what's up? What's up? Oh, yeah. Look at this beautiful crowd of people. Do I sound all right out there? Okay, well, that was reassuring. Thank you. Reggie, I don't sound perfect yet.
No.
They're not giving me the feedback I want.
No, you sound
a little tinny.
That's
thank
really
you.
anti-Semitic.
No, that was fine. That was a little bit. Put a little bit more bass in it. I got to put a little bit more bass in it.
That was a joke about the anti-Semitism thing. Oh yeah, we're getting to that. Also,
what? You know what? That's what we need this feedback for.
Yeah, this is a totally.
So Matt, no music.
No,
music?
yeah. And then this is interesting. Like there's a Middle East torture device in front of me that could be used as a mic stand, I think.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Okay.
That's,
that
looks great.
No,
right. It won't go up.
It won't move.
You're just gonna have to hold it.
Hold it. Okay. Hold the space. Okay.
Hold the space.
Cool.
Hold the space for that broken mic stand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out tonight to the Katie Halper Show. Get a round of applause for yourselves for making this happen. I am the co-host of the show, the one and the only Gabe Pacheco.
Woo! Very funny man. Very funny man,
and
indeed.
The lady to my left is the one and the only, the very literate, the very funny, the whip smart, Miss Katie Halper.
We are so excited. Thank you guys for coming to the show. We do this every month, and we want to thank Reggie Johnson, who listeners to the Katie Halper Show, which is on Wednesday nights on WBAI and also SoundCloud and iTunes, probably know Reggie as the engineer-in-chief, the man behind the magical keyboard.
I'm the one with the voice.
The one with the voice.
Yeah.
So give a round of applause to Reggie Johnson.
Hello.
Ooh, it's hot. It's hot. And then Matt Levine. Is this Matt Levine, who's the brilliant booth man? We call him the booth man, and brilliant live streamer and documentary filmmaker and so much else.
Yeah.
What sign are you? What's your sign, Matt? Gemini.
He's Gemini.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm a Capricorn.
You are a little goat, aren't you?
I'm a little clump, little goat. Okay.
I'm a Cancer, by the way. So I'm
right.
a little disease. Yeah, exactly.
Little crabby.
Little crabby, yeah, but
sometimes.
I'm not in real life. And
Okay.
We appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. We're not going to be, unless there's an urgent technical issue, we're not going to be taking questions during the first 9/10 of the show.
Yeah, but then at the end we're gonna let everybody have a chance.
Yes, and you have 30 seconds to ask a question, which will not be prefaced by a comment about the state of capitalism, because you're preaching to the choir. Am I right?
No comment.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's
comment.
now we know our audience.
Great, man. So I'm glad a couple of you guys showed up.
Yeah,
Clearly,
one or two.
Facebook invites still work.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's because we knew you guys would come out, and we were like, oh, since all these people want to come see us, we might as well have some cool guests that they may be interested in hearing from.
Some cool guests. We've got some. You guys heard of our guests?
I don't think so. I think they're totally here for WBAI.
Oh man, we got El Chapo's Trap House in the building tonight. Oh man.
And the subversive, the sardonically irreverent, waiting for Guffman, the sardonically irreverent Rania Khalek is also in the building.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the house is like evenly divided between white misogynists and Jew haters. So that's always great. We try to bring those two groups together.
The regressive left.
Yeah, exactly.
The regressive left.
Yeah, we want it.
All right.
So yeah, awesome. You're right. And labels are for jars. I know. I went to Wesleyan, learned that there. Some are both. That's a very good point. Some are both, and some are neither.
Yes.
Some is.
Some is.
Neither is some. So we are so excited, guys. This is a historic moment. You guys don't know this. You're actually making history. And is the live stream working, Matt? Okay. We're not the perfectionists that you are, though. As long as people can watch from at home, which may not have happened once.
Let's Goldilocks my vocals, get them just right.
Yeah, Goldilocks
just right.
the ish out of them. Okay, so we're going to bring up to the stage the three men at first. We're going to bring everyone up, but first we're going to start with the men.
Yeah.
Because that's
as it should be.
As we tend to roll, as is our wont. So we are going to bring up to the stage Will Menaker. Welcome. Thank you. Oh, great. Wow, they know
I
me
thought
so
you were
well.
just double-fisted.
Yeah, I will be soon. And by the way, he's not just here because it turns out our cousins date each other. Weird, right? We just found... Was that a boo? Wow. I mean, it happens to be a heteronormative thing, but you didn't know that, so I don't know why you're booing it. Anyway, that's kind of presumptuous. Anyway, and, of course... What would the Chapo Trap House of Chapo, the chaps of that show, be without Felix Biederman? And this is really where the magic happens right now. I mean, everyone here on the stage is already magical, but this is what makes it historical. We are bringing together not just hearts and minds. We're bringing together these boys, this trio of sardonic, countercultural, funky. I'm trying to describe it like my mom would. Funky, sardonic,
quirky,
irreverent, quirky, and my mom is the best. So Nora Eisenberg, thank you. We are bringing together this entire trio for the first time ever in history. Do they know you're here? Because if something happens to this building, it's going down. That's it. That's it. All right. Please welcome to the stage, Matt Christman. Oh, God. Now.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. You said first time ever? Is this the first time that the three of you have been in the same room live?
Indeed it is. This is the first time all three of us have shared space together. And I'd like to think that this evening is... sort of like the beginning of one of the great historical triumvirates of all time. I'd like to think this is probably similar to when Clay Bertrand, Dave Ferry, and young Lee Harvey Oswald were in the room for a first time together. You know, we've got big dreams of changing the world.
I like to think that we're a lot like...
I'll co-sign that.
We're like the West Memphis 6 or the West Memphis 3, you know.
We love heavy metal music, hate children.
And we...
I'll go with that.
And we're just misunderstood, man.
So we thought that we would start the show because you guys are usually the hosts with the most, right? And so we thought we would do this little role reversal thing where we would ask you guys questions and you could talk about yourselves, right? And really unpack what makes you guys tick. And explain to everyone who you are, why you are, where you're at, because it's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
It's where we're going.
It's where you're going, right? You take that one step further. That's why people listen to your podcast, because you're not afraid to go to where you're going. Most people don't touch that.
We're future influencers. We're influencing the future, really. And I think this is a running theme on our show that we like to think that we let our imaginations run wild and sort of create an alternate reality that is funny and entertaining to us. But the really weird thing is that since we started doing the show, we've gone into some kind of dead zone where the things we joke about actually just keep happening in ways that we can't expect or predict. But I feel like what we say on the show, it's a great power and great responsibility. So I'm worried about what I'm I'm worried about what I'm going to joke about next because who knows.
So, for people that don't know the Chapo Trap House, who can give me a brief synopsis?
And also the origin of the name.
Because we got people live streaming right now too that have no idea what's going on.
We were all bitten by radioactive serial harassers.
That makes sense. I'm into that. Like Putin's troll army.
Well, you know, all things in politics go back to Gamergate. That's the most important political event ever. And we were sort of inspired by it. We were apolitical before, and we were like, hey, you know, this is real lives out there. We can harass people, too. What really happened is back in January, this company, Stand Up New York, this guy from that company, he DM'd me and asked me if I would like to do a podcast. And I'd done stuff with Matt and Will before, and I thought they would be the guys I want. But like all things where a company tries to give you something, it falls through because they have it out for you and God personally, and it's a vendetta against you. But after just sort of 2 months of talking about it and not doing it, we were like, let's do it. It'll be fun. And we thought maybe 500 people that liked us would listen to it. And it's turned into what it's turned into. This
It is what it is.
this is my phrase in life. That is, to quote Aaron Lewis of Stained, it is what it is. My credo.
And as to the name, when we obviously picking a name is like the hardest thing to do, and we knew we were going to be doing, talking about current events and the news and the media. That would be sort of where we'd get most of our
the winners and losers of the week. Yep.
That's sort of be drawing most of our humor from. But at the same time, if you look at every other podcast that's out there, they all have names like, the numbers guy or the economics hour.
Blue Nation Steve.
Yeah.
Welcome to the wonk hole.
So I wanted to have a name that sounded completely different than what the show actually was, and I just wanted it to sound like a rap mixtape, basically. So Chapo Trap House, that's what it is.
Were any of the other cartels ever in the running?
No, it was Chapo or nothing else, man. He's just he's number one. He's coming to Brooklyn soon, by the way.
Yeah.
We'd like to have him as a guest. So if anyone has an in there, please let us know.
We've briefly considered using Los Zetas, but
That's what I was
I
thinking.
really, really disagree with their bathroom policy. So they were off.
What is there? I don't even know what it is.
The Los Zetas are evil. I don't want to be associated with them.
Yeah. I like Chapo's hair cut. It's very it's bold.
Yeah.
It's forward thinking.
Yeah, the business bowl cut is
Yeah.
going to be the thing of the future.
Yeah. I like it.
The owner of the Oakland Raiders has that same thing, where it's like you're just too busy to worry about getting.
It's
a
kind of
decent
70s
haircut.
feminist too.
Yeah.
70s feminist mom. All right. Well.
All right. So okay. So we've got the origin of the Chapo Trap
Right.
House. Boom. And then how about you guys though?
Yeah.
Were you guys all friends prior to joining up and becoming this powerhouse team?
I
We were
hated both of
internet
these guys
friends.
before, and I hate them now.
No, yeah, we were all friends prior, just knowing each other basically through Twitter. I mean, that's how I met both of these guys, and I had met both of them IRL, as we say before. But like I said, this is the first time all three of us have been together. But no, we started out. We did a couple shows together through our friends Brett and Brian, who host another great podcast called Street Fight. So everyone check that out if you get a chance. But we did a couple episodes of them, and it went really good. We thought we had a great rapport, so we just decided to do it for ourselves and just see what would happen. And it's been honestly, I'm kind of shocked by how successful it's been, but I'm really enjoying it.
Moment of silence.
That's beautiful, man. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That was totally.
Sorry
an
for
ad
being
for-
sincere. That
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, you got taken over by
Tane
some,
Orb.
Also, that sounded like a beautiful advertisement for Twitter. Like, you can
Yeah.
make
It's
friends
true.
on
It brought
here.
us all together.
Do you remember the tweets you had me at you had me at identity politics or a wedge issue, for instance.
I think it was maybe when Felix was first doing all his gay mail material. The Lebanese militia
Oh, I thought you said gay mail.
gay mail.
No, yeah. We're all really into Bashir Gemayel, and I know that
Shout outs.
we joke around a lot. We say a lot of. That's right. We say a lot of stuff. We say a lot of stuff that we don't mean. We have a veil of irony. We're afraid of our own feelings. I'm afraid of my own mortality, so I hide it by saying things I don't mean. But
That sounds about right.
But we did bond over our mutual appreciation of Bashir Gemayel, the one true president of Lebanon who never died. He is going to return.
We believe in the Lebanese dream.
Right.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? It's worked for me.
Yeah. I mean, aim for the Lebanese dream, and maybe you'll land on the clouds.
What? Oh,
I feel like this is a transition we can't resist.
We can't
to
resist
invite
it.
our next participant.
let's bring her up.
Let's just bring her up. Speaking of the Lebanese dream, MC Lebanese dream, the woman coming to the stage is not only the founder of the Lebanese Dream militia, but she's also, and not only is she with a very anti-Semitic publication called Electronic Intifada, intifada. Should I do that? I'm gonna pretend. I'm gonna do that. And also, like,
Please do.
can I order some guacamole for the table so we can watch Y Tu Mamá También? But she also was called by Mort.
No, I just said that's not the right guy. That's a billionaire. It's not. No.
This guy's poor,
Morton
salt
Klein.
of the earth. This guy, the head of the International Zionist Organization. Is that what it is?
International Zionist.
Oh my God, I can't.
Okay,
I'm a
not
Jew, I
all
can say
international
that.
Zionists are rich. Okay.
No, but what is his? No, what's his name? I was gonna say Mort Saul, but he's a comedian. What's his name? Mort what? Anyway, a big Jew.
Zionist organization owner.
A big Jew. Mort Klein. Thank you. A big Jew on campus, literally, because they're all about the campuses now. BJOC. Ooh, wow. That's like
that might catch on with the wrong crowd, but yeah.
Called this woman a Jew hater, Nazi-like tactician, and she's also been called. She's been accused of sicking her sociopaths on hapless victims on Twitter who are paid by Hillary Clinton. So please welcome to the stage Rania Khalek.
Thank you.
Rania and I actually met at a panel on women and Hillary Clinton, and we're two of the many self-loathing women who have internalized misogyny.
Well, no, if that was the case, we'd be voting for Hillary Clinton, right?
Ooh, she went there.
It's
She
deep.
went there.
Ouch.
We're actually going on tour. We're doing a stand-up tour.
Oh my God,
called,
what's the name?
Called what? Hillary.
Oh.
I don't even know ye. Just thought
I
of
thought we
that.
were
You
gonna
guys
go with-
think it was all planned out? Just thought of that.
Wait, I thought we were going with two woke girls.
Oh, that is our show.
Right?
Yeah, actually, and thank you, Scott, for coming up with that name. We have to give him credit because we're so
Yeah, like, that
and we
wasn't
believe in
us.
sharing the credit. Two woke girls or the intersect.
Yes, the intersect.
Yeah.
I love that. I really love that. I love that.
So I think it's fair to say that, of course, Gabe and I on the Katie Halper show, we are a WBAI show, and WBAI was taken to court for saying some words that you can't say that I'll email to you guys out if you want. It's a fun time. And we can't endorse anyone. So you're not going to be able to tell who Gabe and I like personally in terms of presidential nominees.
So you want like Kearney Randers? What? I can't
Oh yeah,
say.
yeah. We don't like there. If there
Wait
were
a
a
minute.
socialist Jew.
Wait a minute, you guys are not Gary Johnson supporters? What?
Dude,
What did I
I-
agree to?
I don't know why we have driver's licenses.
I'm leaving.
I don't
I
either,
think
'cause I don't know how to drive.
I think WBAI should get taken to court for bumping our original appearance on your
Yeah,
show.
you know what?
For 40 minutes of slam poetry set to pan flute music.
Okay,
But
so,
I
we're
already
gonna play
I already
this.
I
skilled, I already
wish.
skilled it. I'm going to do all my responses from now on in slam poetry. Okay. My mind is a blade, a weapon, attacking the international nation and the corporation that is the American.
Wait a minute, is that Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, we apologize. We're going to have you on the radio again. We're going to show WBAI that energy drinks and Gary Null are not the only games in town. Am I right? Was it too soon? Too real? Why? Okay, no. Just on time? Do we like that? Reggie's like, okay, this is a safe space, so I can say that.
It's cool.
Okay, so how do you guys, by the way, deal with the accusations of being either racist, misogynist, with unchecked white privilege that overfloweth from your scrotal cup?
We
if you
high
will?
five.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me quote a man who is very influential in my life and still is. I don't care if you're black, white, gay or straight, a woman or a man. If you respect me, I'll respect you. A man named Marshall Mathers, a.k.a. Eminem, said that. So that's my response
he
to
was
any of
so
those
ahead of his
accusations.
time. No,
Yeah.
he was really so
Woke
ahead of his
AF.
time.
Woke
We let
AF.
haters.
Oh, I mean,
We just let haters be our motivators.
Yeah. You look, if you got something popping off, people are always going to respond to it. They're always going to be like, oh, the podcast's boring. Oh, they personally harassed me. Stop emailing my wife.
It's like Napoleon, during the Roman Empire. Everybody's just, trying to knock him down. It's just history repeating itself.
Yeah, it's like, after the beer hall putsch, yeah.
Wait, can I just say that I thought you were directing that question at me because I've received the same kinds of criticisms that people who look like you guys have. So, that just shows you right there how it means nothing when people are like, white privilege, because they're like, Rania has white privilege, she's a guy. And
Well,
I'm
you
not.
do.
I'm not a guy, and I'm not
Yeah,
white.
but only
Prove
if you're
it.
But I'm like,
essentializing yourself.
misogynist.
That's really triggering.
Rania-
That's really triggering.
Okay, we're gonna solve
you
this right
thought
now.
we were going to be
What
taking
are
a break
your
from
thoughts?
harassing WOC tonight? It's happening.
We're going to establish this once and for all. Rania, your thoughts, please, on the Dave Matthews Band. Pro or con?
Like half the room's gonna hate me. Like I don't want to answer that question.
you like
People
them.
get really No, God.
Oh,
no.
then everyone will love you here because anyone
know. Oh,
here
sorry,
who
that's
actually
too
likes
far.
Dave Matthews will never admit to it.
Oh, closer to
I
my mouth. Hello.
I know how you guys roll.
No, I don't like Dave Matthews. It makes me want to curl up into a ball and gouge my eyes out. I'm sorry.
You're
Like,
really brave for saying that out loud because this audience.
That time that his tour bus
Watch
dumped a
privilege
bunch of-
work. Watch privilege
time-
work right now, folks.
The time that his tour bus dumped a bunch of crap on people on a boat, that was pretty funny.
Is that real?
I mean, that was
the best release they've ever made.
It's one of the greatest trolls of all time.
I remember a guy. I went to a Dave Matthews concert. It was an anthropological experiment when I was in high school, and a guy behind me. I swear to God, he did this thing where he like opened his legs and would like take his knees and like put them around my waist from behind. It was
Alpha
this
move.
weird, like what do you say? Move?
Alpha
move. Yeah, it was alpha. It was really alpha, and I went weak in the knees. But I have to admit, I'm not gonna lie. This is bravery. I like that song Crash, even though it's a bit of a date rapey Peeping Tom anthem, imploring a woman to, or suggesting, I don't want to say imploring, there's consent counts, even for Dave, to hike up her skirt a little more and show her world to me. And I feel like that, because it's in the second person, hike up your skirt a little more and show your world
I
to
think
me.
that's for good grammar. I appreciate
Okay,
that.
yeah. I just wanted to convey it. But I feel like the poetry in that song kind of like erases the perviness of it.
Your thoughts on Baby It's Cold Outside?
Another rapey anthem. But the best one is an Indecent Proposal. Do you guys know this one by Romeo Santos? It's one. I know you guys are really into bachata, so I thought I'd start off there. And it's very cool because it's like if I lift your skirt up and if like the windows get steamy, like would that be okay? It's like hypothetical conditional sex crimes.
Well, I just have to
Which
say,
is also one of the Law and Order.
regardless, I
subgenres.
appreciate your ability to admit that even though a song has a bad message, you can. It's like still like catchy.
Like Lenny
That-
Riefenstahl's movies.
Well, that
It's deliciously problematic.
Exactly, yeah.
no, I like the Robin Thicke song. Like I hate it, but I like
right.
when it comes on. I'm like I want to kind of dance to it.
This is a
It's bad,
good
it's
chance
bad.
for me to plug the 14 articles on my Tumblr that I wrote about the problematic nature of blurred lines and fandom in general of popular music.
And what it means if you like it, like what it means
Exactly.
about you as a rapist
As
on
a
the inside, I
poptimist,
guess.
as a poptimist, how does it feel? What does it mean that I like blurred lines?
So, okay, real talk, guys. So I want to know what is different for you guys about this time in which we're living, right? Because something no one ever is brave enough to say is that we're living in a different time. People always love to say, like, this is just the total status quo continuum, like there's nothing unique about this time. But I feel like maybe there is in terms of politics and podcasting, right? The deadly combination of politics
I have
and
something
podcasting.
to say about that.
And yes, and Rania, I appreciate that you're willing to hold the
Enthusiastic.
space and respond to that and interrogate that. So please.
Well, what I was going to say is I think what's really interesting about this time, and I think this was a really important part of it, is that everyone's broke, especially people who are like our age and then our generation, most of the people I think in the audience. I'm sorry if you're not a
Don't be
millennial.
ageist. This
Yo,
is an
speak for
But it looks
yourself.
like
I'm
a
getting money
majority
every
millennial
day.
audience.
This is an ageism
I own
free
2/3
zone.
of a Bitcoin, lady.
I don't know.
Like my little sister just graduated from college and she like picked a really good major. Like she's not an idiot like me. And philosophy, right? That's where the money's at. No, she like picked like a business technology. I don't even know what it is. It's something important where you can actually make money. And even she's like, I don't know, like I like am broke because I have all this debt, and like she doesn't know if she can move out of the like my parents' house yet, and that's crazy. Like that's what's happening to millennials. It's like even if you're graduating college, like unless you're like already a millionaire or like come from a really wealthy family, like life prospects suck. And so I think that makes a huge difference moving forward, and I think that's one of the reasons why like millennials and I guess people under 30 or maybe a little over 30 are not like bad people like the other generations above us because they suck. Sorry if you're a part of that, but like collectively, like
What I enjoy is that I grew up really loving Paul Verhoeven films, and now I'm living in one, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Wait,
I'm basically
Showgirls? Are you talking
Paul
about
Verhoeven.
Showgirls?
Well, yeah, that's a good one. It's underrated.
It
But
is.
I'm
I
talking
had a
like
professor who said it
RoboCop,
was
Starship
totally
Troopers. Like I get to live in a Paul Verhoeven movie now, and it's pretty great.
I just
I'd buy that
Verhoeven.
for
I thought it was
$1.
Verhoeven.
That's going to be Trump's campaign theme, by the way. That will be the slogan. Forget "Make America Great." It's going to be out by that for an hour.
Trump's going to go on the stage. He's going to take the stage in Cleveland at the RNC, and he's going to go, "Billy, can you fly?" Movie reference. Sorry.
It was
I know
predicted
no
here.
one got it in the audience.
A few people did.
No, I was being sarcastic. I was mocking your self-deprecating thing, and you're not even a Jew, so I just want to congratulate you.
I did grow up on the Upper West Side. So
what street? What street?
West 90th.
78th.
Oh my God.
Between Riverside and West End.
Yeah, right on Riverside.
Stop it.
Get
Me
out.
Too. Get out of here. And our cousins are reproducing, perhaps, as we speak. That's why
like
they couldn't make it here
it's
tonight.
the friend I never knew I had.
I take serious issue with the idea that only Jews can be self-deprecating. Like, I find that very...
Well, not to brag, but statistically, we are
the rest
most.
of us can be.
I mean, that's just true. They've done... I'm not kidding. Of course, Jews have done studies on this, and the numbers don't lie. Right? Numbers? Carl?
Numbers always lie. There's a certain pundit who I won't name.
Wait, tungsten.
Yeah. Who went, ooh, according to my calculations, blah, blah, blah. If I carry the 1 and do the 0, I don't know. I didn't take math in college. He tried to predict the elections this year using numbers. Another man named Carl Diggler.
Okay, so wait, pause. I just want to make sure, because we're an inclusive group of inclusive people. Can you just explain who Carl Diggler is? Because I want everyone to be able to enjoy this.
Carl Diggler is many things. Carl Diggler is a single father.
I thought he was married.
Ex-Mrs. The Dig. They are currently in family court.
Okay, is he single or not? I just want to know.
Would you like his? He's.
Maybe.
You can talk
I'm just saying. You're so good with numbers. It's like you don't find a guy like that
emailed
anymore.
you guys. Wait, no joke. Hashtag no joke. Serious, real talk. I did email you to ask if he was single, because I felt this vibe that he was like giving out lately, like a single vibe, and I was. Yeah.
He has a raw sexual energy.
Yeah.
Carl Diggler, in addition to being a single father, yes, the custody is supervised because of the treachery of family court judge Ellen Tao. But he has also been a political insider for 30 years and has, to date, called the primary elections with 90% accuracy, including...
Wait, what was the 10% he got wrong?
What's up?
What was the 10% he got wrong?
Good question, Rania.
So I'm going to, you're lucky because you're about to go behind the curtain. Hawaii is what screwed us up the most. We got both wrong on Hawaii because we were too clever by half. We actually called this guy in Hawaii, this Hawaiian reporter. We woke up at a certain time to call him. And he was like, the Cruz people are very enthusiastic. And we literally spent 7 hours researching Hawaii all day, and we got so clever by half that we were doing like Rain Man crap, and if you take the propensity of people on the Big Island, if you add in Cruz's spectrum appeal.
You were Maui focused.
Yeah, and then
we
just got our asses kicked in Hawaii both times. But
gut beats both numbers and reporting.
That was our mistake. We tried to use actual knowledge instead of offensive stereotypes like we usually do.
You know who we had on the show, the live show a couple months ago? We had Leslie Lee, who was one of the co-creators of Bernie Made Me White, which of course was inspired by the victory of Bernie Sanders in Hawaii. The
whitest state in the country.
Well, people on Twitter jokingly said, if Bernie wins Hawaii, then they're going to start calling that the whitest state ever. And of course, CNN, because they are unwittingly a self-parody, came out and called Hawaii one of the whitest states. Bernie Sanders typically does well in these rural white places, and named Washington State, Hawaii, and Alaska, which happen to be among the 7 least white.
Let me put on my Tom Watson hat to explain this.
Okay, yeah, please.
Hello.
Oh, Tom Watson, yeah.
Well, if you remember World War II, the Japanese were allied with the Nazis, and they considered themselves white, and many in Hawaii are of Japanese descent.
Oh, yeah. No, that was...
They were honorary Aryans. It's true.
He didn't say that. Did he actually say that?
No.
Oh, my God. I believed it. That's how good that was.
Yeah, I was like,
I made that up.
Sounds like something you would say.
You made it up, but it's based on another parsing of identity, which is like the the Hispanics who identify as white, basically.
Like a racial dysmorphia.
Vasconcelos. You know what I'm talking about.
All POC are not created equal.
Oh no! Can I just say this?
It's
That
a
that
spectrum.
Arabs.
It's a rich
As
tapestry
an
of
Arab
POC.
woman, I can say this. As an Arab woman, I love how people are like, as this. Like you always have to start a sentence as your identity. But as an Arab woman, I can say this is that Arabs aren't considered, like, by the census, we're considered white, which is funny because I'm like, that's awesome if it's true, but I don't feel
Congratulations.
Yeah. Like a lot
Way to
of
go.
guys
I
are
know, right?
You're
Your
gonna get
tote
a lot
bag
of
is in the
marriage
mail.
proposals. Let me tell you, from guys on Wall
It'd be
Street.
so tight if that was the
Actually,
case.
they like dating Indian women anyway.
But yeah, but no. So like, it's like throughout this whole election, it's like, it's all these like Arabs. It's funny. Like I feel like, you know, Arabs love Bernie. Arabs in Lebanon. Like I have family members who love Bernie Sanders. It's funny. Like my mom's on the phone with like uncles and aunts, and they're just like, she's like, yeah, like the Jew, right? Like who would have known he'd be the better one? I
know.
Like it's great, but that's like it's a good thing though. Like it's a good thing. It's kind of like he's breaking because in the Arab world, like a lot of people really do see Israel, because Israel's like, we're the Jewish state, and they're like, okay, so like you're the Jewish state. I guess Jews aren't very nice, and so like Bernie Sanders is literally
And
like
are really insecure about their masculinity.
yeah, like right, but no, it's great. He's like really breaking. He's really like mending some bridges. It's wonderful. I love it. Well, I will say this is like with the white thing. Like now that I've been white for a few months, like
Congratulations.
I'm also a Gamergator now. I've been called Gamergate by Joan Walsh. Can I say
See you
that?
on
Can I say
Black
that
Ops
out loud?
3.
So what's weird is that I was telling. So I used to have this. The standard of liberal and left for me used to be, this is like a very easy oversimplifying litmus test, but it was like if you were critical of the war in Iraq but not the war in Afghanistan, you were liberal, and if you were critical of both, you were left. And now I feel like maybe in the world which revolves around me, it'll be the people who invite me to their holiday parties are going to be the left, and the people who don't but used to are liberal. So, and that goes for publications too. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I'm not getting an invite to the TPM holiday party. Josh Marshall, that's on you. Prove me wrong. And I will get an invite to the Nation holiday party, but that's because they're like whatever curious.
They're like mixed.
They're like less curious.
A mixed
by the way, their
race.
cruise this year is going to Honduras, and I was very happy that Greg Grandin wasn't one of the speakers listed because that would have been awkward. He writes about Honduras. Google it. You know, Honduras is that country that Hillary Clinton helped turn into a coupocracy? Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Full of femicide.
Full of femicide femicide in full effect,
They
which
love
is the
it.
album.
To be fair,
that
according to
Hillary's
her, it was
releasing.
their culture that was the problem. Their culture of violence.
That's
and
Central American.
That's what she said. That's like a direct quote, almost. I didn't.
Yeah.
Don't
Also,
quote me on that.
look at Hillary. She's such a conscientious student of polling. She scrubbed out one of the things she said in her soft cover book of her hard choices, so that it didn't make the point that it made in the hardcover, which was basically like I wanted to make the point of Mel Zelaya, who is the president, who was maybe kidnapped. It's not clear. He was just like taken from his house in his pajamas and put on an airplane.
It was a sleepover party, guys.
It was a
slumber
booty-
party.
It was a booty call.
Yeah, it was a booty
Maybe
call.
he was on Ambien.
Yeah, he was. Oh, and he like piloted himself. Well, he
Yeah,
probably drove-
yeah.
I
Look,
think it's
you
true.
have a lot of talent.
He went to the refrigerator in the
And
country
wound
over
up in
next
Costa
door.
Rica. It happened to me. By the way, I met Mel Zelaya at some weird event that Ariana Huffington was running with some Canadian heiress. And Jimmy
It was one of
Whalen-
her events about how to go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
That's her new thing,
that's her,
right?
her latest
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
So
Sleeping
you know
is
what?
the
No
new
one's-
being woke.
Nobody's going to talk about that. And there was a guy who was from the UN, and he introduced Jimmy. Isn't Jimmy Whalen? Is that the Led Zeppelin guy, or is that the Wikipedia guy?
That's the Wikipedia guy.
That's what I mean. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't the Led Zeppelin guy at this summit, and I could tell. You know, you can see in people's eyes when they like nod, but you know that they don't understand what you're saying. So this guy introduced Zelaya. This was before he came out as a kind of populist dude. He was kind of caudillo like friendly. And
So this is pre-slumber party.
Pre-slumber party,
Okay.
yeah. Pre-doing anything that would get people to try to invite him to a slumber party. And he said, this is Jimmy Whalen, who created the... Is this bad? It's okay. All right. Pretend I'm doing an Italian accent. You'll feel comfortable, okay? Who created the site where you can find yourself, sir?
Wait, now it's like an Indian
That
accent.
was it.
no,
No,
that's
that was
Indian.
Indian.
Okay, I
I can
thought
do
you were
Honduran,
trying
but
to
I'm not
do-
going there. The guy
Okay.
happened to be Indian. Okay, which is why I said, like, pretend it's Italian or for like French, you know, and we'll feel at ease. And I was like, I said to him in Spanish, I translated, and I was like, what he just said is that. So I feel like there's a role that I played.
I feel like,
in
you're kind
Honduran.
of responsible for the coup in Honduras.
No, I'm responsible for
I'm
shifting
just
him
saying-
left. I moved him to the left because he saw those eyes. My eyes were like
I wonder if Zelaya and like Jean Bertrand Aristide ever had a beer together, and they're like,
in their
I know,
coup
man.
island.
I know,
Coup
dude.
Island.
Wait, can I say something
know.
really
They
unpopular
should go
and a
on
little
tour.
off
They should go on
topic of
tour
this?
and have an album.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, no, like if you had to choose between having a beer with Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, like I would have a beer with Donald Trump. Let's be honest.
He doesn't
Like,
drink though.
I know, which is
He
what,
doesn't
no,
drink.
I think he would. He would drink if he's gonna drink for this beer.
I would
Or
have
like I'd smoke-
what's
I'd
a sober
smoke with
beer?
Donald
What's a
Trump.
sober, a non-alcoholic beer?
Like a ginger beer, like an O'Doul's.
Yeah, isn't there like a whole
See,
brand?
he would
I
be
would do that.
boring.
It would be fun to just
He
like
would
get
be
wasted
so
with Hillary
bo- oh, he'd
Clinton
be
and
so
just, like,
boring.
He would
He
like
would
he would talk about
himself
golf
the whole time. All he talked about
yeah.
is like, yeah, this is fantastic beer. I used to own a brewery. It was
Unbelievable.
fantastic beer. It was
Unbelievable.
fantastic
I'm
brewery.
already entertained.
Yeah,
That's the
he's
thing.
way
Boring.
more entertaining than Hillary.
I would rather try to like have Hillary and then like try to crack through the facade.
Yeah,
like
no,
it would be a
there's no
challenge.
facade.
Like with
She's
Trump,
she's an
you just
actual
turn it on
robot.
and he's gonna go off all night. You don't have to do anything.
There's
But
nothing
with
underneath
Hillary,
it.
you could just like try to get the seams, at the mask and see if you can get
know
the
what was
lizard.
adorable? You know what was
you can get
adorable?
like a few scales behind the ear. Like, oh, that's it. There she is. I got the
Reptilian
reptoid.
chapter.
Got it.
Hillary would be like that the entire night. Like even if you just had a rager with Hillary, even by like hour 9, she's gonna be like, I may not be Zooey Deschanel, but I'm gonna be the new girl in the White House. Like it's the same
The
like
new
weird
abuela.
broken up delivery the entire time.
See, I want the challenge.
No,
it might not work.
I bet she's a
It's like
total
Hillary.
robot.
It's like why you or Mallory? Why you climbing Mount Everest? Because it's there. I got to find out if I can get behind the mask.
She's my abuela.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
By the way.
she is the
I
abuela
would
that
ra-
we never had. None of the Latino people ever had.
I would rather have a warm cup of water with Ben Carson than either of those.
All right.
Man, he's going to take you deep into the hollow earth. You're going to get more woke than you knew you could talking to Ben Carson.
You know, Ben Carson tried to stab a kid over changing the radio, and the kid was, thank God for small favors, was wearing a belt buckle that stopped it. Or else he could have been the first black surgeon murderer who ran for president
Wait, who do you think?
unsuccessfully.
Wait, I wonder who's nicer to children. It's like, is Ben Carson cutting children and like weirdly bragging about it during debates?
Yeah, he is.
Better, or is like, because it's kind of adorable. It's like Hillary Clinton has a thing with children too, where she's like, go back to your country.
Right.
Um,
She said, we want to
Right,
send a
like-
message. We're just sending a message.
Right, no, it's like
and for
adorable.
instance,
It's
what you send a message to the kid?
it's like instead of a bottle, instead of a message in a bottle, you just send like a message in a child. But like back to the
that's
violence.
adorable.
It is a
You're
kind of
like, well,
cute.
you-
like
the message
it's
is
precious,
Be
right?
a responsible parent.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the message.
Don't get yourself born in the country that we foment civil wars in.
Ben Carson's message is don't get yourself born conjoined to your twin. But
No, it's-
I'll help you with
Yeah,
that.
it's like if
need
you
to.
do, I'm
Yeah,
your man.
he's the guy to talk to.
Although they had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, the people he operated on. That's all I'm saying. I can't say
Well,
anything
like, no,
else.
but
I'm
you-
not them.
That's
but
like
I do know
Bieber's
that.
sex partners.
Really?
Justin Bieber.
He also has gifted hands.
He has gifted hands, and he's into conjoined twins.
He's got loose
It's a
hands.
thing.
Is that a thing?
Also, though, the best thing ever was when Ben Carson was asked if he would be able to like bomb people because he's
That's
this
the thing,
compassionate
yes.
Christian doctor, and he literally said to Hugh Hewitt, who's just such a mensch, he said to him, if you could see the look in those children's eyes when I tell them I'm about to cut open their heads. Like, his argument, I'm not kidding, his argument for why he could kill a lot of people was his surgery practice.
Dude, and it was like the
Hold on a second.
quiet
He was like,
storm.
no.
It was quiet time. It
He
was
was
total
like,
serial
he
killer
was
talk,
like, when you,
Abe said.
they were like, can you kill women and children abroad? And he said what you just said about,
Yeah.
look, the look in their eyes, they know it's going to hurt. And I tell them, it's going to hurt, but
Oh.
it's going to be better afterwards.
He says, and in some ways, death by 1,000 cuts. I'm not kidding. Death by 1,000 cuts in some ways is better.
I mean, I'm convinced.
My favorite Ben Carson thing, it was at the last debate he was at, and because, we live in a fake country, they had a YouTube star ask Ben Carson a question. Like one of those people from those channels, it's like, prank, killing my best friend. And the person...
Caden Aiden?
Yeah, Caden Aiden or Chad.
Or dulce de leche. Isn't there like a dulce candy or something?
What? Look, I subscribe
Sweet.
to all of them. They're all good channels. But he asks the YouTube star asks Ben Carson about immigration, and Ben Carson, without missing a beat, just talks about how political correctness is hampering his war on ISIS. Like this person is like what are you going to do about the 13 million, blah, blah, blah? And Ben Carson goes, we have a problem in America. And we can't use the tactics that we thought we would be able to do when I'm president. Like, he just talks about whatever. He's like Birdman in the interview. He just talks about whatever he wants to talk about.
He's one of the most articulate people on Quaaludes I've seen in a long time. I just want to put that out there because I feel like we have more credibility when we concede certain things to the other side. So I want to know, guys. Oh, first of all, because we already established I'm a Jew, so I'm going to pass this hat around, and you can put in your favorite passages from the Torah. Just kidding. You can donate too. Because just so you know, we're a nonprofit. You probably can't tell from how like smooth the chair situation is. You probably think this is a very like well-funded operation.
Some of us up here work for TaskRabbit. We might, move people when we're not on stage.
Like emotionally move them. They get really like just
Yo, if you broke, get some money. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, we're also going to offer.
Say.
So one of the things the Katie Halper show is going to offer is a CD with inspirational phrases. They're called Menahu.
Just life affirmations.
Menacan.
I am also available.
Oh my God! Yes,
I'm available to Uber anyone home after the event if anyone's interested.
But I want to talk a little bit about the idea of the misogynist war against Hillary Clinton and the tone policing. And do you guys know what tone policing is? Because I want to just say
can you kindly break it down? It's like,
okay, I know.
It's the sound of the beast.
Neera Tanden, I'm looking right at you because I know you're watching this on the live stream. So Neera Tanden,
from her lair.
I don't want to be. I'm very
petting a cat.
Tanden, I tweeted
That's
something
dead.
and I Facebooked something about Neera Tanden. She had a great tweet about freeloaders. And she basically said, like, why should freeloaders not pay for health insurance? I pay for my access to New York Times. Because, like, basically, I would say that I'm not kidding, that's what she said. Because I think that access to the New York Times is as essential to being healthy as access to health insurance.
I tried to go to the dentist last month, and as soon as I walked in the door to the office, they just stopped me and said, sorry, it looks like you're using an ad blocker. Do you think you could
You know what happened to me? I got there and they were like, "Oh, this is your 10th free visit. You have to pay for the next one. Get a subscription."
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
and then you're like, "Can I open you incognito?"
If you ask me,
nothing funny there. Just way too literal. Anyway,
there's no difference between dialysis and reading a Frank Bruni article.
Yeah,
they're both essential.
I mean, you're not the first person who said that. I just want. How could you say that about dialysis? Okay, so
If I could paraphrase Albert Camus, if I must choose between insulin and David Brooks, I choose David Brooks.
Well, to be fair, there are some doctor's appointments, particularly at the dentist, that are as painful as reading like an article about Israel at the New York Times. So,
wow, she went there.
I did.
That's like all the tropes wrapped into one. I love it. No. I'm a friend of some of my best friends are my cousin, Israeli cousin, who was dating a Palestinian, and then the wall came up, and that's a cock block.
Oh my God,
I'm not kidding. She did. Rivka. Her name's Rivka.
I smell rom-com.
Rom-com, right?
Oh my God, that needs to be made. Like, I'm already excited about that.
Do you
the
guys
cock block wall.
Do you remember there was a story?
It's get Gary Marshall to do another one of those series of movies called Nakba Day.
Yeah.
Are you ready to soil your Nakba up with the Judd Apatow? Okay, are you ready? I was so impressed.
No.
I could see my facial expression, like wearing pride. That's so embarrassing. I was like, I'm going to take that one and repeat it. No, but the best story, one of my favorite Israel stories is when this very nice Jewish woman who clearly wanted to raise kids with a Jewish man because that's important to her, she met a guy in a supermarket in Israel, and like 5 minutes later, they were having sex in the stairwell. Because that's what you do when you're
Israel's
Jewish.
mad lit like that. It's lit
AF. It's not a big deal, but it's very lit.
Yeah, it's like a Federalist holiday party.
So they she found that she didn't ask him what his Jewish identity, like what his religious or ethnic identity was during their 15-minute courtship. Right, but his name apparently was, I'm not making this up, it was like Duty or something, which is this is like the best like anti-Israel propaganda, so feel free to use it. But apparently, like, whatever his name was really common in Israel, and it was Duty. And she found out that he wasn't Jewish. He was Muzzy. He was a Muslim. And she did what all nice Jewish girls who have... and I'm not stairway sex slut-shaming at all. That's, like, where my Jewish sisters at. That's how we roll. But she did bring him to court. And he was found guilty of rape via deception. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I remember this story.
And that scared me because I'm ethnically ambiguous. and like I may be a serial rapist. That's all I'm gonna say. And I don't even know it. So
that's why I mean you are like a bro.
Wait a minute. Does that mean that I could get in trouble for all the women who slept with me after I told them I was Zach Galifianakis?
No, because that's not an ethnicity. I mean, the Greek thing is like incidental, I think.
Phew.
Anyway.
This is why I tell everybody to say Volcel.
It's the most powerful sexual orientation. Voluntary celibacy for those not in the know. For the uninitiated.
What are the...
I'm like depressed about that story now. I do remember that.
It's hilarious. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Oh my god, like it's
no,
terrible.
I just
reminds you how bad
because he happened to cheat on his wife. Like I don't. He cheat. What are the odds that you're going to cheat on your wife with someone who actually is going to take you to court for not being a Jew? Like that's.
Wait, he cheated on his wife. He should go to jail.
I know.
Yeah.
No,
right.
I mean
that's what I believe.
You know, I just remember.
Ladies, we think men should be locked up for breaking your hearts. My DMs are open.
But anyway, so yeah, Israel, good times. But anyway, Neera Tanden, back to you, Neera. I don't want to take any time away from you. But I put this on Facebook and Twitter. It's interesting. She went to Facebook more than Twitter. But she's been like checking my status like once a day. And she keeps explaining why she's kind of for healthcare. And then she keeps saying, I'd love to hear your response. I'd love to hear your response. I think she thinks I'm just going to be goaded into like calling her a terrible name and being all misogynist and like just using all the potential like disgusting things about her. But that aren't there. You're not disgusting. I'm saying that there are people.
You're not a scumbag.
You're a superstar.
I think she just wants to own you with logic.
What?
Yeah.
She wants
to own you with logic. She's just waiting for an opportunity.
If I know anything about Katie, it's that she loves the ad hominem fallacy.
I do.
No, it is a little weird that Neera Tanden is like trolling you on Facebook.
I think Neera, if you want to go on a date, I will go on a date with you. You're not the first cap.
Well, if you do go on a date with her,
Senator for American Progress
she might then make you pay for it with oil.
That's true. Do you want to explain that? So then she keeps saying, I'm waiting for your response. And I have like 1,000 people who are way better about healthcare than I am because that's not my lane. And they all responded and they were really smart and articulate. So she's like, I'd love to see your response. You, Neera, you were like, I'd love to see your response. And then I was like, I think they said it well. And then so finally the other day I was like, to healthcare or Libya stuff? And you haven't responded, Neera. But can you explain the Libya reference?
Yeah, remember the leaked, so there was leaked emails.
And who Neera is, because we don't need to get into backstory. Like she will probably be, if Hillary's president, she may be her chief of staff. And she's a friend of both Modi and Netanyahu, so she's good taste.
Yeah. Nationalists, like across ethnic spectrum.
Right wing.
Oh, we're criticizing people for having diverse friends now, I see.
Yeah.
Very
because Bibi Netanyahu is like, breaks the ethnic mold.
How do you guys feel about Modi?
Oh, well, wait.
Great honor to meet him. It was a great honor to meet him.
I think of Netanyahu, Modi, and of course Recep Tayyip Erdogan as really like the Justice League for the 21st century.
We're the Avengers.
Those are the real fighters for truth, justice, and development.
Well, so no, Neera Tanden, right? Back to Neera Tanden. Are we still talking to her?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
yeah.
I feel, okay.
We shouldn't.
Is this like a wrestling promo?
Yeah.
Neera Tanden, Sunday!
Don't say anything bad. No.
At Madison Square Garden! You're going down!
No, but can we make that, like, can we put something on the end of that to make sure that she knows we're being woke and not at all, like, offensive?
I don't want to get
That
fired.
was irony.
I don't want to get fired.
That was irony, and also it didn't
Well, none of
involve
us are
a single
professional
bad word.
wrestlers.
And it didn't involve a single bad word.
It's true. So Neera Tanden, for those like 3 people, I guess, who don't know.
Way to shame. Way to Tanden shame.
I feel like everyone
Neera
seems to be
shame.
laughing, so unless they're faking it. Neera Tanden is the president of the Center for American Progress, which is very tied to the Clinton
American
team.
progress, the best type of progress.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of redundant.
Neera Tanden, there's 2 things that she did that were really cool. First, when she became president of CAP, as it's the acronym for it, she basically like instituted this sort of unofficial policy of like censoring coverage that was critical of Israel because people are really like, there's too much critical coverage of Israel.
Yeah,
so
it's like
someone needs to be rooting for like the underdog. And the the other cool thing that she did was that during, there's these leaked emails showing her talking to her colleagues and thinking she was talking in private. And isn't it funny when that happens?
Never email this woman drunk. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
And she was like about Libya. There was about Libya, and she was like, well, we liberated them. And this is totally a paraphrase, not a direct quote. But basically, like, we liberated them, so they should pay us back with their oil. And like, we have like,
because we live in a deficit economy.
Yeah, deficit. Yeah, so like to fix the deficit. And I mean,
it's like this or Planned Parenthood. We either have to charge the Libyans for getting bombed, or we have to slash Planned Parenthood. It's like the liberal weak spot, liberal pain point.
Well, to be fair, Donald Trump also had a similar idea about Iraq, about them paying us back for bombing them with oil. So yeah, I mean, I think that that's really great that they have so much in common.
I mean, you mentioned what's special about the 2016 election, and how do we deal with being called harassers, and like why is Neera Tanden in your Facebook mentions and messaging you constantly, asking for your response to some?
Because she takes me seriously as an intellectual. Thank you.
I mean, I think the reason for a lot of this is because of Hillary and Bernie. Like, I think there's just a huge class of people in D.C. and the media who think of themselves as liberal, but when faced with what is a legitimate political candidate actually running to the left of the one that they support, the one thing that they can't do psychologically is admit to themselves that they are defending a more right-wing position. So what they do is they rely on this idea that the people attacking them for that or arguing with them for that are doing it because they are misogynist, racist, et cetera, et cetera.
Anti-capists.
Yeah. And if you're a fan of the show, we had Matt Taibbi on just the other week, and he told us that literally is what people on the Hill have told him is the actual strategy of the Clinton campaign.
Right, the narrative. Like, you smear people as it's that you make Sanders and his supporters look like misogynists, unhinged. What else? Old.
I don't think old was.
No, that was
old.
me. I need to check my ageist privilege. No. Misogynist, unhinged, what else? Racist, white, unwoke. Because in all fairness, Hillary Clinton maybe Hispanders better. She Hispanders better than Abuela. She tries, though.
Abuela was great. That got me.
So Gabe, we should explain to people here who don't know. So Gabe and I are in a kind of Rachel Dolezal relationship, a transracial relationship, because lots of people think I'm Latina, but I'm Jew, and lots of people think he's Jew. But
when Jewish ladies date me and they find out the next day, they take me to court because I'm
also, though,
a very Semitic-looking Chicano.
Very Semitic-looking Chicano. And I think the youngest person who's ever used Chicano to describe himself.
I know. Well,
you're like Eric Estrada. You are the Eric Estrada of WBAI.
I don't want my aunt who might listen to this in Seattle to be like, "Hey, why'd you say Mexican American? We're Chicano?" And I'm like, "Okay, but I was not from the '60s."
You sound very Mexican when you talk.
Thank you.
I think that your stage name should be Benicio del Toro.
Oh my God, that's amazing! That's amazing.
Is there like a
You guys can have that one.
Is there a little clever man inside your head?
I know, it's really discouraging. I'd like to pretend I'm inspired by it, but I'm just bitter and hateful. And loving at the same time.
It's brilliant.
Well, I grew up playing a little thing called Xbox Live, which forced me to come up with a few zingers on the fly.
So I wanted to, you guys, I want to.
I just want to say one thing about what you said, and that is that I think you were, and this is like crazy, it sounds crazy, but I think you're being a little generous.
Crazy?
Almost,
that's a little ableist. I'm not really comfortable with that term. Can you just interrogate
I'm sorry, you're right. That was a little ableist. I've been actually told that. So, anyways, regardless, so you were being a little, or this is going to sound
irrational,
absurd,
hysterical.
Or irrational, hysterical.
It's okay because we both have uteri.
Hysterical.
I was being over against type, being overly generous to my political enemies.
Supporters,
who should die, all of them. No, just kidding.
No, but I really do think, I think it's a little bit more sinister than just, they're deluding themselves. I think some people are definitely deluding themselves. Those are maybe people who are a little bit more on the progressive end of the spectrum, who actually do like universal health care, but are now like, no, she's great. It's cool. But no, I think it's actually more of just a tactic that is being used to keep the left in its place. There's an insurgent left at the moment that hasn't happened in decades, and they don't know how to deal with it. And for a long time, the Democratic Party dealt with it really efficiently by just shutting them out, except for during elections when they're like, okay, come vote, or we're just gonna smear you as getting Bush elected. But otherwise, now it's they don't know what to do, so they're just smearing people. They're doing it in the UK too, where Jeremy Corbyn supporters have been smeared as abusers. Like all these Labour MPs, Jeremy Corbyn, if you don't know, was voted like the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, and he's like even further to the left than Sanders, like more in line with probably the politics in this room. And after he was elected, the Blairite wing of the party like freaked out, like which the Clinton wing is sort of doing now, and they voted to bomb Syria, and all these women MPs who voted to bomb Syria from the Labour Party went to all these media outlets and were like, we got a flurry of really mean messages from Corbyn supporters calling us killers of women and children. It's very misogynist. Yeah. I'm not even joking. So like the Independent and the Guardian like wrote editorials being like, Corbyn needs to get his supporters in line. And this happened back in December, and we're seeing something really similar play out now. So I think it's a really sinister attempt to just like to keep the Democratic Party cleansed, if you will, of leftists in any sort of decision-making power.
Well,
I mean, like, yes, what's different about this year? Look, there are tens of millions of Hillary Clinton voters. I do not, like, my sister is voting for, like, most of my family is probably voting for Hillary. I don't think it's a gang of sociopaths, obviously.
It's a family of sociopaths.
I'm talking about the more prominent. I'm talking about the more prominent supporters.
But when we're talking about these like high level surrogates, like
HLSs.
I like that.
Okay, listen up, Hoss. But
Howls.
Hose? Oh no, no.
Oh, Matt, we think this.
I'm sorry,
Matt. No,
I'm sorry. I'm trying to remove it.
But when you look at the higher level surrogates, they forget that people can remember stuff they said 2 years ago. So you get this group of people who, after we shot up NATO shot up Médecins Sans Frontières hospital in Kunduz, we're like they were saying like, well, you know what? It wasn't totally illegal. Sometimes you have to kill a doctor. People who after the collateral murder video are like, well, this isn't technically a war crime. And now
we're just following orders.
And now these same people, these same craven, venal, just disgusting people who justify war crimes for a living it's like in Spinal Tap when they keep switching genres. They're now like, you may remember me from previous articles, such as sometimes you have to kill children.
Right.
Here's my new article. Our misogynoir problem. And I don't think it works. It doesn't work out of this little bubble. People think that Twitter is the election. Yeah, I love Twitter. I don't really have to work because of Twitter. I write stupid articles all day and host a stupid, terrible podcast. I think it's great, but people assign this level of importance to it. Only like a few million people and some people in the media do it, and they create this self-contained atmosphere where they're spinning a narrative, but you go out in the real world, you try to. What are you going to say to like a 70-year-old man in Florida?
Do you even tweet, bruh?
Yeah. Well, do you think he has an opinion about like harassment on Twitter? It's just the dumbest narrative. It doesn't exist outside of Manhattan or DC, and even then, like it's
Bay
completely
Area?
fake. But this is the narrative they've created.
Are you
for this
trying
election.
to say that the people in Gaza don't like necessarily pay attention to the harassment Joan Walsh is getting on Twitter?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a point actually that Matt made on a show we did. I think it got edited out, but we were talking about
Which Matt?
Like all of my really good
Matt,
stuff.
Yeah, Matt. But it was a point about like the sort of division between people who are on Twitter because they're in the media and essentially they have to be because it's their job to do
exactly.
that.
They resent it. They resent having to deal with these trolls. They're there. They're like lashed to the mast. Like I have to be online. I literally have to have this X many engagements over the course of a day, or I'll get fired. And that means I have to have 700 egg avatars telling me to, suck their taint or whatever. And they're like,
it's not even the
and so
appropriate verb.
they see the internet basically as an extension of their workplace. It's basically they see the Twitter as like their lunchroom at work. And it's like, if you said that at work, you would call the HR guy if somebody, showed you the pig poop balls photo.
You know what I never want to see ever again in my life, even though we're going to see 50 more of these articles in the next month?
Medium? Medium posts?
I love Medium posts. I love finding out about like someone's like lived experiences. Sorry that you can't tolerate that, but
I'm becoming anti-Bernie, bro. I'm becoming anti-Bernie. A corporate lawyer surprising journey from.
I saw the one today that said Bernie is Tanya Harding, and it's time to stop.
Yeah. And Medium, what I love about Medium is that Dolores Huerta, praise be upon you because you're awesome.
I'm sorry. No, that's Dolores Herrera.
But
I don't know if anyone saw that amazing tweet.
She uses Medium, as is the want of many 80-year-olds who are involved in the United Farmer Workers struggle. And she wrote a piece about how terrible Bernie Sanders was, and she says but here's the kicker, which is how you know she wrote it, because Cesar Chavez, that was his go-to phrase. Here's the kicker.
That's what my abuela says all the time.
Yeah. So if you basically go to Medium every day, there'll be I'm a socialist Jew from Brooklyn who moved to Vermont, and I don't like Bernie Sanders. So today's amazing gem is literally Bernie Sanders is Tanya Harding. I can't vote for Tanya Harding. Which, come on, write a better headline. That's just repetitive. Putting Bernie or bust on ice. Now that's clever. I like that. That's a subheadline. But basically, he goes through that, and my plan since the start of primary season has been, and his name, by the way, is Mitch Lerner, but don't tweet anything misogynist at him, because then I'll have to be annoyed. My plan since the start of primary season has been this: vote for Bernie Sanders in California's Democratic primary in order to voice my support for him, his ideals, and a more liberal Democratic Party platform. Cheer like hell for Bernie when he gives a speech at the Democratic convention. Fight like hell to help Hillary Clinton become the nation's first female president. Then this happened. While the New York Times reported on May 18th that, quote, while Mr. Sanders says he does not want Mr. Trump to win, his advisors and allies say he is willing to do some harm to Mrs. Clinton in the shorter term if it means he can capture a majority of the 475 pledged delegates at stake in California and arrive at the Philadelphia convention with maximum political power.
Are you saying he's trying to win? That's disgusting.
First of all,
that's literal violence.
And then they have a
First of all,
side-by-side
are
of
you okay?
Nancy Kerrigan. Sorry, I just want to Nancy Kerrigan and Hillary Clinton, because this is how you reach undecided.
I don't know about
When
y'all,
I see this
but I would
side-by-side-
absolutely vote for Tanya Harding over Hillary Clinton.
And over Nancy Kerrigan, yeah. Me too.
my name-
After seeing that picture, I'm pretty
this
convinced.
oh my God, I didn't even know this part. I'm not kidding. Do you guys see this? Can you explain this? This is Oksana Bayul in a side-by-side with Donald Trump.
She's Putin.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, no, she needs to be Putin. It doesn't make sense.
This is not real.
Hey guys, my name is Marcus Cum. Here's my article on Medium. I
these
supported
people.
Bernie Sanders since even before he was a senator. I left my job to help him get elected to the Senate. I'm a socialist. I am not a former lobbyist for Raytheon, like the trolls say I am. But the moment that I found out that Bernie Sanders was trying to win the election, not a good look.
Exactly.
See ya, Bernie.
Once I was
Rethink this.
I never want to read those again. Write something else. God.
Yeah, one
Oh, my God.
my favorite piece ever was by Shake's tweets. Who blocked me, by the way.
She's
I want
great.
to start.
That's always the name of the coolest people on Twitter is ridiculous. What is that shake? Like the shake weight? Like what? Does
No,
that
I
even
think
mean?
her name. It's her blog. It would be like if I
Her
was
blog
like
is like
Kate tweets.
It's like a Shakespeare.
Oh, imagine if the author of
She loves to drink male tears.
yeah.
She actually wrote an article called "The Inherent Misogyny of Bernie Sanders Anti-Establishmentarianism," which tell me something I don't already know, right? But
That is something that Shakespeare would say too.
Well, the establishment is as woman as you can get. So it's basically anti-establishment. You're a rapist. Basically, you're a rapist.
well, also you want to share that amazing. She's also the brilliant mind who compared Bernie Sanders. What was it? Debating Donald Trump to raping someone.
This is the same woman.
Yeah, that's the same. She's very prolific. She works for Blue Nation Review.
I'm gonna find this. You
which
keep
Peter
dancing.
Dow, who's a phalangist, runs. He actually was, right? He was in the Phalange, the Lebanese Christian fascist army, which, God bless them.
Why are you
they
guys
don't get
booing
enough
a Lebanese
love.
man? Why are you booing a Lebanese
Spanish
man?
No,
Any
there's
white
a
person in here is
no,
booing a
so
Lebanese man,
fascism-
fascist or not.
The Phalange was a Spanish thing, too.
SMH.
Jose Primo
Look,
de
who
Rivera.
amongst us has not gone to Germany in the 30s and looked around and say, there's some good ideas going around
Yeah.
here?
I mean, Weimar was woke AF, but I know that's not where you're...
That's very Ron Fournier, by the way, like the founder of Lebanese Phalange. He went to the Olympics in Munich in '36. And it's very
It's a good
Ron
time.
Fournier because he was like, I don't agree with all this, but they really have something
Right.
here. Love that boy.
I mean, look,
But seriously,
like fascists are like not. It's like not. There's inside. There's like a personality in there, and like we should respect.
Very
that,
dynamic.
especially
They
when
are
it's of
dynamic
color.
people.
Like it's you know.
Mussolini was a socialist before he was a fascist. Do you guys know that? He was named after Mexico's Benito Juarez.
Okay,
there
I'm
you
ready.
go.
I got it. Can I read this? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is from our good friends at the Blue Nation Review. It's about Bernie Sanders and a little bit of Donald Trump and what Bernie Sanders demanding Hillary Clinton debate him, like actually means. And gang rape is part of it. So, alludes to that. So here it goes. Bernie wanted a California debate with her, and she didn't bite. She drew a boundary, and instead of accepting that boundary, Bernie figured he'd conspire with Donald to try to coerce her into doing what he wants.
I know you want it.
Bling lines. Bling lines.
It gets better. It gets better.
Like Dan Savage said. Dan Savage,
No,
big,
I like
big
the
Hillary
soundtrack.
supporter.
I like the soundtrack.
That's
It's
good.
like it really like
You
helps.
should
like,
read
set
all
the
of Bernie
tone.
Sanders' quotes to the soundtrack of rape anthems, and
my
then
God.
everyone at Blue Nation Review
There should
will
be-
just play that on their
That
website.
should be like a podcast in and of
Yeah.
itself. Frankly, the fact that Hillary has achieved a level of visibility, power, and influence that few women ever have makes me all the more furious that two men are still trying to show, jokingly, in scare quotes, jokingly, or seriously, they can gang up to push her around at will, that they don't respect her agency or her right to say no. Dun, dun, dun. No, but like here's like the really scary
And
part.
this is like
I'm-
this is the PR place that like David Brock and Peter
Yeah.
Dow and the Clinton men, which is
Money
like,
well
weird.
spent.
Clinton men.
Yeah.
I've never heard another like a sexier phrase in my life, like Hillary men. Oh my
Oh,
God.
I know. Gives me a she boner.
We are the
Seriously,
Hillary
if
men.
I was that lucky.
We are the woke men. Slaying together. Think peace filled with straw.
It is by will alone that I am ready for her.
The message to women and girls is appalling. No matter how successful you are, men will still try to assert control over you and cajole you into doing their bidding. You are not allowed to say no. By every conceivable metric, Bernie failed this test badly.
What test is that? The like metaphor, simile, like let's exploit rape and pretend it's a.
I mean, look, all I'm saying is that one time this person had an argument with me, and it was a man, and he demanded that I continue arguing with him, and I was like, don't rape me.
Yeah, he totally gave you a deep,
Pretty much. It's the same thing.
deep
It's the same
thing.
thing.
Democrat.
Forcing me to defend my ideas.
What Bernie did was quote from his favorite song to Hillary Clinton, and he said, "Give me your heart for real, or else forget about it."
Well,
I mean,
No, that was like, but seriously, in all seriousness, that's like one of the most appalling things I've ever seen. Like, and
yes,
a woman
Wade Smooth
wrote
with,
that.
Santana
a
and
woman.
the guy from
by
Matchbox
the way,
20.
one of my other favorite people who's a woke AF, that's as FUKC, woke AF feminist for Hillary, who speaks truth to power and discourages white and male privilege, is this woman named Amy Siskind. Who, Amy, you are blessed and you are beloved.
She blew up my fave star. I'm really appreciative.
She blocked me. She blocked me, and she's a former Puma. And when I say Puma, that's party unity my ass. But what's amazing about her is that these were the people who wouldn't vote for the black dude after Hillary didn't get the nomination.
Back when white voters were very, very important and shouldn't be taken for granted at all.
Yeah. So in 2008, lots of people were like, we're not going to vote for Obama, and it's not because we're racist or anything. It's just because we really like Hillary Clinton, and we like that more than democracy. And what's amazing about this woman is that she was a Puma who actually was encouraging people to vote for Sarah Palin in 2012. So when you see her around, Amy, just know that she's a woman who literally was like... encouraging people to vote for Sarah Palin. And that, to me, is the perfect metaphor for the identity politics.
Well, because she was the one who...
Amy Siskind fans.
I
get
did a
it.
joke.
She's very appealing. She's like...
that is my brother. He stopped being an Amy Siskind fan a year ago.
Yeah.
But Amy Siskind, after the contremps at the Nevada caucuses, Amy...
what did you call them?
The contremps.
Oh, yeah.
When, it was all over the internet that Bernie Sanders supporters had unsheathed katanas and started cutting people's heads off. I did as a joke on the absurdity of everything. I did a tweet where I said, disgraceful that Bernie Bros at the Nevada convention shot an RPG covered with dildos at Barbara Boxer.
Wait, did everyone hear that? Say that again, because I want to make sure people hear this.
I said it was outrageous that Bernie Bros had shot an RPG covered in dildos at Barbara Boxer. And within about 20 minutes, it was retweeted by Amy Siskind. And then for the
Who has
next
a dildo alert
2 days, I had little women with like colorful hats on, and people with the arrow in their avatar, and with things like Game of Thrones lover, or House of Cards is my life.
Radical centrist.
Yeah.
I'm ready for her. Warning, trolls will be blocked.
Yeah.
People who ask me about my uncle's death will be unfollowed.
I love the thread
Both of my sons are dead.
But I had hundreds of them going, this is outrageous. Bernie needs to condemn this once and for all.
This unnecessary dildo attack.
It was the same day that Wendell Pierce kicked in someone's door and tried to beat her up for
You know
being
what?
a Bernie
It's
bro.
really pathetic that you'd even bring that up.
I know.
Like how could
I'm
so
sorry.
Wendell Pierce is
only got charged with,
Bunk
like,
from The
assault.
Wire, and he was charged with battery. And 2 of the victims were 2 people. They were Bernie Sanders supporters, and one was a woman. But the Hillary feminists were really busy that day covering a
Condemning the dildo
microaggression.
cannon.
Covering
The
Nevada
dildo attack.
Gate.
They were
Nevada,
really
yeah.
mad about the dildo cannon, but the literal violence against women was, well, hold on a minute.
It's pathetic that you'd even bring that up.
It's- no,
It's just
it's my
so
favorite
it's
part.
so
You
You know what?
white
You know what I
now
gotta
for
say
the-
about Wendell Pierce? It's all in the game.
See, that's why I feel bad about it, because like he gave an F when it wasn't his turn to give an F.
Oh yeah, to quote the show that Wendell Pierce was on, he woke up that morning and got himself a gun. Why? What did I screw up?
My favorite part of that whole thing, though, the Nevada thing, because this is why they were busy, is because Barbara Boxer was like on TV talking about how unsafe she felt, and then video footage came out confirming how unsafe she was, which was that she what you're doing right now, which is putting your middle finger up. She was
Literal
like surrounded
violence.
by a police detail, and she was just like smiling, blowing kisses, and flicking everyone off after being super undemocratic. And it's really funny to me because I can tell you this is that when you act like a tyrant, it's really rude when people get mad. Like
It's just
really
disrespectful.
rude.
They're boundaries.
I mean, like when Tayyip Erdogan, the sponsor. of our-
Shout out to our sponsor,
Yeah.
by the way.
When
Casper mattresses and the AKP party.
when Tayyip Erdogan said of his political enemies, they have said horrible things about me. They've said that I'm Georgian, even Armenian. I said, first of all, WTF. Second of all, are you okay? And it's like, it's a shame that all these people act like just because you're a powerful person, you don't have feelings. Not true.
Hashtag not true. Yeah. So we thought we would open this up since we're acknowledging like the suffering of disenfranchised people and marginalized people. We thought we'd open this to a Q&A.
I don't know if any of you were alive then, but I'd like you to try and compare 2016 to a year I remember very well, 1968.
No, we weren't.
I have something to say about 1968.
Yeah.
How old do I look?
Oh, it was a great song by, what is it called? No. Oh, that's 1969, yeah.
Okay, no one laugh at me. Was that the George McGovern year?
No,
no.
Humphrey.
I'm like a couple decades.
The hump.
Humphrey Nixon.
Thank you.
And
Well,
George
so
Wallace.
1968 has so traumatized like that generation of progressives that I keep getting people like invoking 1968 to me to be like, that's why we gotta vote for Hillary, even though I hate her.
Right.
That, I mean, I don't remember. I wasn't there. I don't think any of us
things
were.
could get
1968.
I also don't think it's 1968 anymore.
Well, for those
Unclear,
of you who
unclear.
don't know, 1968 in Chicago during the Democratic Convention, Mayor Daley and the Chicago Police Department invented deep dish pizza.
As the bread and circus? The bread and circus?
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
Horrible. I don't ever want to go back to that.
They also...
I know, thin crust is, honestly, as New Yorkers, we're biased, but thin
forget
crust
about
is
it.
so
Chicago
much better.
PD also did a fantastic job of checking the privilege of a bunch of outrageous Kennedy bros.
Entitled.
Yeah. Eugene McCarthy has a special place in my heart. I went to his alma mater, University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. Any Tommies here? I thought not. But,
Wait, that's the fancy one that they have in New Mexico? No, New Mexico
it's in
too?
Minnesota. It's not fancy. I went there.
Okay, I was thinking, okay.
But no. So I see a lot of liberals bring it up all the time, and they're good.
This guy's not
they
liberal.
just generically, not you, but just like people, like stupid pundits, bring it up, and they're just like, it's going to be chaos like 1968, and I go, what do you think happened in 1968? Because what happened was Richard J. Daley, the American Pharaoh, sicked the CPD, which was even worse than it is now on civil rights protesters. But they just sort of generically think convention bad.
Chaos.
And and it just.
But it's also, they say 1968. What's the other year? It's like all the Reagan years. They're like
1848 revolutions.
McGovern 72.
No, not just the chaos. It's also like the insurgent candidate like losing, or the fear of the insurgent candidate losing.
72.
It's like traumatized a certain crowd of baby boomers. Oh, sorry. It's. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? It's traumatized a certain crowd of baby boomers that they keep invoking it, and it like really has had some effect on them. And I think the country was on a more conservative trajectory, like overall, and that's not where we're at now. So it's like Bernie Sanders, if he won, wouldn't lose in a general, I don't think. But I keep hearing that. I don't know if you guys do too.
They keep bringing up stuff from literally 40 years ago, like it's the same country. I'm sorry, a lot happened between then and now.
I think the most salient 68 connection is just that that was when George Wallace ran as an independent, and he basically, his constituency ate the Republican Party. And now, like, we've got Trump, who's basically like George Wallace. And the thing about George Wallace that makes me think that he's most like Trump is
he got the black vote the last time. Not kidding, he did.
Who he chose to make as his VP, because he ended up with Curtis LeMay. But before he got there, he was debating John Wayne and Colonel Sanders. For real, not kidding. And that's just really Trumpy. That's super Trumpy.
Very Trumpy.
But that's what's frustrating about now, though, with the Trump and George Wallace thing is like there is a candidate who could break through.
I love that the biggest criticism of Bernie Sanders is that he could actually take away voters from Donald Trump. Like that's terrible.
How about this?
Wow, what a terrible candidate. That's awful.
Let's close the circle and have Donald Trump nominate Gary Sinise to be his VP. Gary Sinise played George Wallace in the TNT.
He also is kind of George Wallace in his Wallacean in his politics. Gary Sinise. Very right wing.
No, he's very right wing.
Apparently it's problematic to like the troops now. Disgusting.
It's interesting that people are supposedly tolerant of other lifestyles, but not the military lifestyle. I rest my case.
The question was, what do we think of Bernie Sanders' anti-free trade agreements?
The Webster's Dictionary defines free trade as trade that takes place free from restriction.
It's cool. I mean, it's just what's depressing is just kind of contemplate just the international nexus of capital that makes it hard to imagine anybody kind of unrolling that, you know. But it's good to see. The thing that's heartening about it is just to see that it gets a response from people, which means there is maybe some last vestigial, you know, hope of mobilizing people to vote.
Don't make last vestigial hope his my slogan, because that polled poorly.
We are against the TPPPPP.
I get down.
I'm against OPP.
I like free range eggs, so I'm all for it.
All for free.
I forgot what the question was, but I am poly.
I think there should be a rule that you have to wait 10 minutes after meeting someone before you can announce that you're poly. And I think people would.
I disagree. You should wear a shirt that says it at all times.
No, but we approve of the anti-free trade rhetoric.
We've endorsed that. We've endorsed that.
That's the interesting part where Trump comes in. It's like he's running to the left of Hillary Clinton on that. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like,
and he probably bombed fewer people. Like the ones he would bomb, he'd probably torture the F out of. And
I said this. I said this before. If Donald Trump does become president, the one country that I think there's a good chance we will go to war with is Scotland, because they keep putting up wind farms next to his golf courses.
Right.
So.
I do think, though, the big difference is, but for Trump and Hillary, is she's got blood on her hands and he doesn't yet. So, like, it's like there's a record.
He's aspiring, maybe. He's blood-handed curious.
He does this crazy thing because like the leftist, anti-free trade stuff is like a sort of leftist talking point, but he's adopted it because he's like a demagogue, and that's what they do. But
populists like it too.
well, he's like a pseudo-populist. He's like, no, I don't think he's a real populist. Sure. But what I would say is that he does this disorienting thing. If you ever watch his rallies, which you should because they're really interesting. And I do actually mean that because he does this crazy thing where he smacks his opponents, men or women. I don't know, but he goes after his opponents from the left and the right like simultaneously.
Oh my God! Like the guy behind me at the Dave Matthews concert.
Yeah, like.
That wasn't even. I didn't even think
and
that.
like the guy at the Dave Matthews concert, it leaves you disoriented and confused
and horny
and a little
aroused.
Okay, well,
aroused, not horny.
We all have the things, we all have our fetishes. So I'm not going to judge you, but yeah, it's insane. So like, it's just he'll be like, I hate refugees. They're all terrorists, and Hillary Clinton's trigger happy. And you're like, well, I don't know what to do. Like that's kind of true. Like half of that is correct, and so it's very confusing.
Well, what a weird election it is. If you saw Ted Cruz's last stand before he just got perforated in Indiana. Ted Cruz, by the way, his last-ditch effort to save his campaign was to become a bathroom warrior. Really,
he went down on the
really great strategy.
He fell on his sword, so to speak.
But if you remember, this guy, because Ted Cruz is a debate nerd at heart, he gets in an argument with a guy in a crowd, a pro-Trump guy, and the guy, like Ted Cruz, is like, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Can you tell me what you like about Donald Trump? If you can explain to me, blah blah blah." And the guy is just yelling like, "Goldman Sachs, carpet bombing kills women and children." And this is a guy rooting for the front runner. Of the
classic Dutchman's bunion fallacy.
Yeah. It's such a weird world that, this is such a weird primary that the front runner destroying just the guy on his last legs, the Stannis Baratheon of the primary. He's coming at him against carpet bombing and against association with Goldman Sachs.
The bipartisan consensus is collapsing. There's no popular support for it anymore.
Right.
They're all panicking now.
Because chasing Amy.
Every stupid idea that people told us you had to do to triangulate, where they're like, well, most Americans want a balanced budget and they want means testing. We quickly found out that, just more or less, on one side you can get a mix of racism and populism. On the other side, you can get things that are the opposite of balanced budget and crap like that. All these think tanks, they were just money laundering schemes, or just it was like welfare for people who were born wearing lanyards, and then no one ever believed in that crap ever.
The Ezra Klein model of
They're no one in America cares about any of that. That's the most fringe belief system in the world.
By the way,
America.
Do you know what play Ted Cruz was in when he was at Harvard Law? Was it Princeton Law or Harvard Law?
Equus.
Harvard Law. Do you know what Cruz? What play?
I hope it was one of those David Mamet plays where
no.
he's naked.
He was in
Cabaret.
No. Ready? Wait.
Showgirls.
The Crucible.
Crucible.
Arthur Miller's The Crucible, the anti-Red Scare
He
allegory.
took all the right
Yeah,
lessons from
what's
that.
really funny about Ted Cruz is how everybody
played the
was
bad
like,
guy,
how
like
the
goody,
entire
whatever, goodies.
establishment was like, Ted Cruz is the more reasonable candidate, and it's seriously,
No, he's way scarier
he's
than
a
Trump.
Christian fascist. It's like Trump looks like a dove next to Ted Cruz. Let's be fair.
A dove.
The fact that
Unbelievable dove.
The fact that anybody
Tremendous
was rooting
dove.
for Ted Cruz as the savior of the Republican Party is
I
insane.
liked that he had a
if anything, you know what,
tonsillis
Trump-
come out of his mouth.
Well,
Remember
Trump is
that? Ray Sani came up with a comedian, Ray Sani. She doesn't like Bernie as much as I do. Ray, hi. I actually love this woman, Ray. She's cool. She's a comedian. She's not like a Amy Siskin. But she diagnosed it as a tonsillis, which is a thing that gets stuck in your tonsils. Remember when Ted Cruz had a big chunk come out of his mouth? So that made him more human to me.
It was going from his nose.
And he swallowed it. He swallowed it again.
It looked like he produces cottage cheese from his own ear, nose, and throat. But no, Ted Cruz wanted a roving Gestapo patrol around Dearborn, Michigan.
You
the
don't?
idea that he was any more respectable than anyone else.
No, he was way scarier. I think he was way scarier.
Oh, yeah, he's actually, I joke about I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton, but I mostly wouldn't. But if it was between her and Ted Cruz, that would be the one thing where I'd be like, okay, maybe, because that's Armageddon, or really the guy he's an end times.
By the way,
Rapture.
Rapture.
I don't want to be Rapture.
There's these two comedic geniuses
Don't worry,
that
you
have
won't.
the Trump versus Bernie debate. You should all watch this, Trump versus Bernie, and especially now that it's not going to happen. And the guy who plays Trump does this amazing thing about how Ted Cruz actually was was an aborted fetus and thrown into a dumpster and raised himself And it's just really a good time and a good analysis, and I recommend listening to it. It's a James Adomian and Anthony. Thank you. How do I say it? Atamanik. They're geniuses. You should watch it. Friend of the show. Not really. They haven't been on yet, but I love them.
Hey, at the risk of knocking the irony levels down a notch, all of you. At the risk of knocking the irony levels down a notch, all of you are clearly very, very passionate, care very deeply about all of this. Getting away from just the sort of generational shift where we see lots of people our age, a little older, a little younger, being super, I guess, I hate to say the words into politics, but was there a formative experience, something that touched each of you personally that made you feel that you owed it to yourselves and to other people your age to really...
No, but I really don't. Can you finish your question? I have no idea.
2 seconds, but I thank you for the...
Sorry, I just...
The Gestapo-esque timing.
He wants to know like a formative political memory.
Yes,
like they made us say like, no, we
like
won't
thing that
sit it out. Or
yes, no, you won't sit it out. Yes, this matters to me.
When I was one and I attended my first anti-nukes rally, and then was a campaign organizer for Jesse Jackson, and then reluctantly for Dukakis. But
it's an impressive resume.
I know, not to humble black, right? No, but do you guys want to? Well, I will say this, that like I was way more comfortable like being around liberals before, and it was all like, I'm left, they're liberal, but whatever, it's a fun time. We're all like fighting against Bush, and like Obama's being targeted because people are racist. So whatever. When the revolution comes, we'll be on different sides, but who cares? And now I'm just like, oh no, like no, stop. I can't even hold your hand, which is weird because I used to do a lot of hand holding with my liberal friends.
Your hands are very lonely.
I went to George Bush the first's inauguration.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
But like ironically.
I'm old AF.
Ironically.
No, my parents were like, "Hey, you should check out what this looks like." I grew up in D.C., guys.
Yeah, but your parents are like immigrant rights activists. All right,
yeah,
sorry.
You're
I'm
outing you.
Hey, no, Latinos used to like vote for.
No, they never did. They're like,
oh, they just went for like a historical, like it was like a tourist thing, like what?
Yeah, I mean, they were like, hey, we're gonna vote for Mondale, we're gonna vote for Dukakis. So I like was on that side, but they were like, oh, this guy's president. Have you ever seen a president walk in the streets? Let's do that because presidents could walk in the streets then. They weren't getting like death threats all the time.
That was before they
because I'm pretty sure
harassment.
presidents were assassinated.
They were, but
okay,
but
Kennedy
I
theory.
remember I grew up in D.C. when Bill Clinton was like still running around Rock Creek Park and like going to McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah,
like first
don't body shame Bill Clinton. That's messed up.
And then like going to McDonald's
before like airplanes crashed into the White House. He was just like snacking on.
Yeah, before
Big
there
Macs.
was like big things in front of the White House, so you couldn't drive a car past it.
My sister met him twice, and he didn't do anything creepy to her.
Yeah, I'm offended. I met him, and he didn't even ogle at me. Like I felt very inadequate.
You felt unwanted.
I'm unwanted. Yeah.
My dad was a server. My dad was like a server. I come from a very wealthy family, and he served Bill Clinton at like this hotel. He like worked in the
I didn't know he was with the guys.
And he has a photo with Bill
just the
Clinton
women.
who's like towering because he's like a tall man.
That's your political origin story?
No, I was
The
just
Mama
saying it's funny,
Mama
like,
Pacha.
because like it's like I just that's
Pachamamba.
my dad served Bill Clinton. It's like a funny thing to say. My political origin story is like I like was just born into a family whose like country of origin was constantly being bombed by Israel. So like that's just something that sort of gives you an understanding of the media is really biased, one, and two, like the world's kind of messed up, and but like I was always kind of liberal, like I liked abortion and like gay people were good.
I like my abortions provided by the gays.
Yeah, like I was down with all that, but I wasn't like super political. And then the Obama-McCain election happened, and I was like, this guy has a really funny name. Like his middle name's Hussein. That's
McCain.
Cool.
It's not that hard to say.
And so I was like, I wonder if he'll be good. This is literally my thought process. I was like, I wonder if he'll be good on Palestine. And so I started looking up Obama, Palestine. I was like, Obama, Palestine. I'm trying to find everything I can. And
he did say they were human beings or something, didn't he?
Yeah, like it's funny because Ali Abu Nima, like who I didn't even know because I'd never really I wasn't involved in politics. I didn't know anything about these people, but like he had written something about Obama, which was not it was basically telling us everything we know now about Obama. But then also I accidentally stumbled across Democracy Now!, which is really a gateway drug for I think a lot of people. And that's
more
what it was
Democracy
for me.
Now!
It's like I watched it for for weeks. I was just my jaw was on the floor, and it's you see a different world that you don't know exists, and it's actually the real world. And so yeah, that was like my sort of political awakening, and that was like my gateway into like Howard Zinn and like Glenn Greenwald and Jeremy Scale and Naomi Klein and deeper, and and now I'm Rania Khalek and I write about things. So my story. Yeah. Thank you.
My gateway was a little film called PCU.
Oh, I went to Wesleyan. Wesleyan is PCU. It was made by Wesleyan grads.
Yeah, I mean that movie really showed me the way, where it's like you can fight against the squares and the woke social justice warriors, and that put me on the path to where I am today.
To righteousness,
hosting a podcast.
For me, it was a little election I like to call 2004, which. Everyone likes to talk about how, this is the stupidest election ever. Yeah, but come on. 2004. For me, I'm going to always be like the guy who's like, man, you kids today, you think these songs are so cool and the bands are so awesome. I'll tell you what's cool. I'll tell you what's stupid, man. 2004. That was so stupid. And like watching that election and feeling like there's no, like this isn't a choice. This is an insane pantomime. Was really alienating in a way that I found very fruitful.
Fruitful alienation, a life well lived. Memoir title.
Hey, I'm going to attempt to do 2 questions for Chapo. For Rania, so the people who have always been coming at you, calling you anti-Semitic, I'm familiar with those people. Like I went to a Zionist
Shout
private
out
school
to
as a
all
kid.
They're his parents.
I can recognize them from a mile away. I'm wondering if, like, when you went from dealing with those people to now dealing with the people who vaguely call you racist, vaguely call you sexist, like, was it any harder to sort of spot them coming at you and, like, to figure out what the hell was going on than when, like, the Israel fetishists came after you? Yeah.
You want to ask your second question?
The second question, I was wondering how you, as Chapo, how do you balance your desire to analyze punditry with the corporate interests of your sponsors, the AKP, and Ben Dreyfuss?
Love that boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, like AKP. Yeah, we butt heads sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah. Like our boy Tayap is like, you guys have to talk about how the Alevis are they're wrong. Like, and that you have to talk about the Geneli, and we're like, no. But at the end of the day. We both want a better product, and when we want to do a passion project, like talk about Ron Fournier for 2 hours, Tayap is like, gotcha.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the justice and development.
Yep.
Rania's response, and then the last question, and then we'll be at the. Can I speak for you guys? Or are you gonna?
We'll
do you
be
have
at the bar.
A limo come? Okay, you'll be at the bar. At the bar. Okay.
I just want to say first of all that my cheeks hurt from laughing because you guys are so funny.
What about these guys?
I'm like when you're smiling I feel that way right now. My cheeks just hurt. That's a really good question because. So you're talking about Zionist trolls, like pro-Israel trolls who always come at me and they're like, any criticism of Israel, it's like, you're an anti-Semite. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And now I have these other trolls who come at me about, like, it was like first my criticism of Obama is anti-black and like, I'm like racist because I disagree with people who are like dark, who are not white, even though I'm not white either. And then I'm also misogynist because I don't like Hillary Clinton, and I disagree with people who like her. But yes, there is such a similarity between all of those groups because what they're doing is they're invoking identity and they're invoking like some sort of bigotry or hatred towards an identity to shut down criticism. And it's identity politics in the most toxic sort of way. And I think that the reason that it's so similar is because, first of all, Zionism is like identity politics, just like they have an army, which is scary. But then also, what we're seeing now is that like neoliberal elites have understand that you can use this sort of dynamic to, because the left is really responsive. This resonates with liberals on the left, is this idea of like, an oppression hierarchy where your experience matters more than like your actual argument, and your identity matters more than your actual argument.
Which is why Clarence Thomas
and
is so woke.
And there's privilege, right? Exactly, Ben Carson. But no, seriously, I mean, that resonates with liberals, and that's why the Clinton. I mean, it's utterly shocking to me to see a campaign. Like, it's one thing when this is on the margins of Twitter. It's another thing when an actual presidential campaign adopts this as a strategy. But I guess it's not surprising in the sense that that's what Israel does too. So like, this is something that's easily co-optable by elites to get the left and liberals and sometimes even the inner like left itself like to eat each other. And then that's like a distraction from, people just trying to maintain power and systems of control. So that's a great question, and it's like there needs to be like a thesis written about the way identity politics is used, because it's really fascinating.
That's true.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to my brother Max, who's watching from New Zealand on the live stream.
Kiwi,
what's
Kiwi,
up, Max?
we love you, Kiwi.
And
Present, mate, present.
And what's that show that's so great? Top of the Lake, great show.
He is in prison. But he wants to know who would win in a fight, Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski or Hillary manager Robbie Mook? And what does that say about the election?
We'll go to our fight correspondent, Felix Biederman.
This is the question I was born to ask. All right, or answer. All right, Corey Lewandowski, we all know he's a savage. Corey Lewandowski comes out there, they're like, yo, Corey, it's time to clean up business. Go get the chopper from your trunk. Blah, blah. But how is he with his hands? We don't know. It's Corey Lewandowski, if you look at his body type, he's sort of like what I like to call an iron beanpole. And this is the best body type for fighting. Very strong, very long, like UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold. However, his extreme emotion could be a problem in a 5-round fight because this is for a title.
Wait, do we have any long
second.
nails?
We're going to Harold Letterman now with the tail of the tape. Okay, Felix, we're breaking down the fight now between Landrowski and Mook. We've scored the round 7-1 with Landrowski.
All right, this is Jimmy the Greek. Corey Lewandowski, like all the Polish fighters, he's got a big, he can't knock this kid out because of the shape of their heads.
All right, I think we should go out on that head shape reference. Guys, thank you so much for coming.
Really happy.
Thank you,
I'm really happy that we went out on race science.
Rania
It's so on
Khalek,
brand.
Will Menaker, Gabe Pacheco, Felix Biederman, and Max